Greetings everyone, my name is Derek Plavin and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, How to Practice Jazz Guitar Efficiently. I want to thank you for taking the time to check it out, and if you happen to come here from one of my future videos that currently exists somewhere down the line in the fourth dimension, I just want to say you did the right thing coming back to the beginning. You're going to get so much more out of this channel by doing that, so I really appreciate that. So what I want to do in this first episode here is basically introduce the channel and explain my intentions and how everything is going to work and basically what it's all about. Okay? So the general idea is coming out of something that I realized, because originally I had an idea for a book and I realized that YouTube was the much better option for lots of reasons, but the idea originally was going to be for a book, and it was coming out of the notion that I realized that if I were to compare music education, or let's just say more specifically jazz guitar education, and compare that to say the education that you may find in something like the fitness community, I noticed that in the fitness community you can find a lot of popularized, tried and true, let's just say strength training programs that you could find thousands of people online talking about these programs in forums, and different programs, you know, not to say that one was better than the other, but they all were basically reputable and tried and true, and they were popular, and people knew that they can use them and they would work. Whereas if you look at the music community, there is information all over the place, and I'm not saying any information is bad, but it's not really organized in a way that makes it clear for people to understand. Now, a lot of people have books, and obviously people go to school for music, and if you go to school for music, I'm sure they have professional curriculums there that really develop the top level musicians. So I'm not criticizing any program at school by any means, but for the rest of us, you know, you could be spinning your wheels if you don't have the right information. So I believe that a lot of times the secret gold information is basically the practice habits down to the detail of the individual. Because if we're comparing, you know, say different jazz guitar players, we all basically know the same stuff, generally speaking. So what accounts for most of the difference is what are we actually doing down to the detail when we go into the practice room. So what I'm bringing to the community that I think is going to be unique is basically going to be the packaging of all the information, the organization of it, the articulation of the information, because I feel like I can explain it well, and just basically giving you all the right stuff to do. That basically creates a complete method where if you follow it, you're going to get good results. Now I want to back up a little bit and kind of just tell you a little bit about myself and my background with guitar. Not too much, because we're gonna talk a lot more about this stuff in other videos, but I just want to tell you a little bit, just because the people who will probably resonate the most with my material are probably going to be people that feel very similar to me when it comes to certain things in my experience, for things like my musical perspective, my progression, my frustrations in certain things. So basically, I would say it comes down to this. I've been playing guitar for around 22 years right now, and I've been playing jazz guitar, or trying to learn it, for probably about the last 15 years. And you know, if you asked me, even from day one, from the first day I picked up a guitar, even though I wouldn't be considered good yet, but from day one, if you asked me, do I think I'm a relatively good guitar player, I would always be able to confidently say yes to that question. And I'm saying that as humbly as possible, within, you know, the parameters of my abilities at the time. But if you always were to ask me, do I think I'm a good jazz guitar player or a good jazz musician, for a long time I'd be like, I don't know about that, you know, I'd be very hard on myself, and I didn't think that would be consistently good or that I was able to pull it off. So I was very frustrated with that for a long time. So what had happened a couple of years ago was basically I started going to jam sessions extremely consistently, and I was playing with people for the first time, at least consistently, that were like really better than me, professional level musicians, and I was basically getting my ass handed to me and learning from them. And that is what you do if you really want to get better at something. You surround yourself around people who are better than you at that thing, and you learn from them, okay? And when that happened, over time, and it wasn't like all this stuff was directly said to me. You pick it up, even if it's subconsciously or intuitive, little by little. And I started to crystallize a routine for myself that really started to give me a lot of good results. And basically, the way that I feel, this is honestly how I feel like I've made more progress as a jazz musician in the last 2 to 3 years maybe than I had in the last 10 years before that. And I really attribute it to all this new sort of acquired knowledge, or maybe you might say more evolved knowledge, and basically figuring out the routine and running with it, okay? You still gotta follow the routine and you still gotta put in the work, but basically, once I got that routine, I started to take off. So with all this, basically what I wanted to do to help other people was to basically create the jazz guitar program that I wish I had when I was younger. And not to say that I would be saying things that I wouldn't understand when I was younger, because no, I would understand everything that I'm gonna be explaining to you guys when I was younger. It's just that I didn't really see it like that, or it wasn't articulated to me like that yet. So now that I see things in this new light, it's easy for me to kind of follow along this new routine. So considering all this, what I wanted to do was create a course or some sort of curriculum to help other people who have similar frustrations or feel like they're not progressing as a jazz guitar player. And basically the intentions are to follow this course in the intended order, just like you would if you were going to school for something, You wouldn't go to medical school and do something out of order. And also, like I said, I really feel strongly about the idea of having a method that works, and not just thinking, oh, I'm gonna do the things that are unique to me or what I like. Yes, you should do what you like, and part of the beauty of my method, which you will see eventually, is that you get to be unique in the musical material that you select to commit to working on consistently. So everybody's uniqueness, even if they all followed my program exactly the same, would be inevitable anyway, because they would be picking different musical material to work on. So again, the real beauty of this whole approach is more about how you take everything you know and put it into practice versus stressing the material itself. We will certainly be looking at material in these videos, but it's not the primary focus. We're just going to be looking at examples to basically help teach the concepts and help you understand what we're teaching, basically. So, what's the best part about all this? It's going to be completely free, okay? I'm being completely transparent when I say that I'm not hooking you in so that I can sell you some real course down the line with all the real information. No. The YouTube channel is the course, at least for the time being, until we reach the end of that part of this channel. Now, of course, there are ways that you could help me out, and that would be through extra tutoring of different kinds. I'm gonna have the link in the description to this video to my website where you can go to that and find everything, but I offer private lessons, which I obviously think are a good idea to anyone who feels like they need it. A lot of the videos are gonna have accompanying PDFs that, if you ask me, do you need them? Again, it really depends on who you are and what your level is. If you are a high enough level jazz guitar player already, I guarantee you can watch a lot of my videos and you won't need anything, because you could work out all this stuff on your own. But other people might feel like they need it. So it basically comes down to this. All the extra PDFs or anything that I might offer on a given video, they're absolutely going to be helpful, but they're not necessary, okay? And of course, you can just donate to my tip jar, on Patreon or PayPal if you like. And also, I think I'm going to set up a Patreon where if you want to contribute just $5 a month, you're going to have access the whole time you're contributing to all the PDFs on every single video, or basically all the PDFs that are going to be on my website anyway. So that's a great deal. So you don't have to feel like you're always just buying little $2 PDFs for every single video if you would like, okay? So yeah, I really think I have a great thing to offer you guys if you're willing to put in the work and try it out, okay? This is all about making it easier for you. I'm presenting you with the hoops and the knowledge, but don't get me wrong, you still have to put in the work if you want to get results, okay? So as we wrap up this video, I just want to kind of address a couple of objections that some people might bring up. And this isn't something that people usually do, but I'm weird like that, and I think it would be good just to kind of put it out there so all things would be considered. And I want to start with even my own objections that I might have to, making a channel like this. Basically meaning that I sometimes get self-conscious, like, am I worthy to be putting out this information? Because I know guitar players that are better than me, guitar players who are younger than me and better than me. It's like, why would anyone want to learn from me when they can learn from someone who's better? Because that's what I would want to do. And to that, I would say that I know that I'm always getting better, but because, like I said, I feel like I progressed more in the last 2 or 3 years than I did in the last 10 years before that. Therefore, I know that I have something now with this material because my progress is so much more accelerated, okay? And I could also say, well, hey, like, I know that my, musical education is never ending. I'm always learning more and more. Therefore, how could I say that my method is complete if 5 years from now, I might have some more acquired information? Again, that's definitely going to happen, but I know what I have right now is solid, and if you trust me, and if you're someone who is serious about getting better at jazz guitar, I guarantee that my videos will help you. Now, the other thing too is that some people might think that what I do or my approach is implying is that it's not specialized enough or it doesn't consider the uniqueness of the individual. And like I said before, I stand strong behind the idea that I think a lot of educators or trainers in different things, they overmarket themselves when they say things like, oh, I tailor my training uniquely to the individual. I think that point, while it might be technically true, I think is blown way out of proportion, and it's more important to stick with a method that works. It doesn't have to be my method, but it needs to be a method that works if you want real results and you're willing to put in the work, period. Another thing that people might say is, which again is similar to what we said before, is I don't have enough experience, or who am I? Who have I played with? What gigs do I do? And again, I would say to that, you might be absolutely correct, and no one's holding a gun to your head to watch my videos, and that's exactly why I'm putting out all this information 100% for free, unless you want the extra help. If you don't like it, that's all good. That's why all I do is I invite you to try it out and see what I'm all about. And then, if you see that it's working for you, then you can tell everyone how good I am. But I also want to put it out there that there's a lot of reputable, legendary jazz musicians who have a lot of videos online that you can learn things about, just generally. I mean, it will never do any harm to watch videos of Wynton Marsalis, Branford Marsalis. I'm talking about interviews, all the Barry Harris stuff. I want to credit one of my guitar teachers and mentors, Rodney Jones, who has a lot of good information out there. And yeah, so there's a lot of other good information out there. I'm not the only one. I'm just giving myself a little bit of a pat on the back, basically, for consolidating all this information for you guys in a very articulate way. Now, the last objection I would say is, well, why should we listen to you if you don't even play good or sound good? And to that, I would completely agree with that statement. Therefore, I'm gonna show you a clip of me playing right Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. Anyone know the name of that tune? If you do, you should write it in the comment section. And by the way, if you like the little arrangement I did there of the melody, I have it for you available in my store on my website. Link is in the description, and you can purchase it right now for $2 if you'd like. So yeah, in conclusion, for now at least, I'd like to say I really believe in what I'm going to be presenting you guys here in the forthcoming videos. Trust me, I would not put these videos out if I didn't believe in it. I really think that this is going to have a lot of potential to help a lot of people out. So if you're interested, I would say stick around, continue watching these videos. And let me also just say that because this is a logical progression and things are just going to naturally, you know, blend into one another as the videos progress, the first couple of videos are going to be naturally very rambly, a lot of me talking, not so much the playing yet. That's just because we have to introduce everything and we have to present the right perspective that we're going to be approaching everything with before we even get into any of that. So if you're interested in guitar, it shouldn't even be a thing of, you know, oh, I have to sit through these boring rambles. Nah, if you want to get better, everything that I'm saying it for a reason. So make sure that you listen to everything that I'm saying and don't just skip to the videos where we start talking about the practical and the actual guitar playing, okay? So I will see you guys in episode 2.
Swinging and playing the blues. That's what we about.